Hi, my name is Annie. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. If you're returning, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how I block my granny squares using a blocking board. Now, there are many different ways to block granny squares. Personally, I prefer using the blocking board because I make so many granny squares that the board just makes it easy for me to block them. But most certainly, this is not going to be the only way to block your squares. So this is the board that I'm using. I think I just got this off of Amazon. So it's basically just a wood board. I can show you here. It's just a wood board, a square shaped board that comes with these metal stakes. And basically the idea is that you use the metal stakes to kind of mark the corners of your granny square that you're going to be blocking here. These just come pretty easily off the board like that. So you can create the size that you need. Usually what I like to do is I like to put those stakes on the board, and then I just make sure that it's the right size for the square that I'm blocking. I'm blocking these sunburst granny squares today. There's a tutorial for these on my channel too if you're interested. So you want it to be, you don't want it to pull the square too much so that it would be like completely stretched. But you do want it to be kind of like snug, you know, so it doesn't like immediately fall on the board. So you want to be able to move it like this up and down, but also not too tight. Other things that you need to block your granny squares is a bowl filled with water. You could also use a sink and then a towel. So once I've made sure that I have the right size created with my stakes on the board, I take my bowl of water and I submerge my squares in the water. I make sure that they are all soaked, and I like to leave them in there for about 5 or 10 minutes or so. So after I've been soaking my squares for about 5 or 10 minutes, I take my towel. I just basically take these squares out of the water really gently. Try to get some of the water off. And I set them on the towel. And then I kind of organize them, each square separately like that. I fold, doesn't quite fit, let's see, like that. And I fold the towel over, and I just gently try to get as much water off as I can. And then I take my board again, and now, before I already made sure that this square size here is the right for my granny square. So I just simply go and get those stakes through the corners like that. Get it down a little bit, and then I just basically shape it just a little bit. So the idea of blocking is that kind of that wonkiness that granny squares sometimes have a little bit, that sort of disappears. And also this makes sure that your granny squares end up being the same size, which makes it easier to join them later. Now, if they are totally different sizes, this is not going to fix that, but just like slight differences due to tension or some other things. And with this board, I can actually put multiple in these same stakes, like that. I'm leaving some room in between to make sure that the air gets through, and it kind of helps them to dry quicker. I'll put this last one here separately. Even though I could put multiple, I forgot how many I've done on this board stacked up. I think I've done like 4 or 5 at least. So that's why I like this board. It saves space when you're blocking multiple squares. So just make sure that they are kind of in the right shape and size. So there we go. Now I have blocked the squares, and now it's gonna take some time for these to dry. I usually just leave it on my dining table for a couple of days, just to make sure that they are completely dry, and then I can take them off and they are all ready to be used, whether I'm joining them or using them for some other purpose. I hope you like this tutorial. I love this way of blocking granny squares. Let me know what you thought. You can leave a comment in the comment section, like this video, and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.